They say Eden is a myth, a symbol, a story to make sense of paradise lost. But what if it wasn't just a story? Ancient texts don't just describe Eden. They locate it. 4 rivers, a garden, a land of gold and onyx. And some believe we've already found it, buried beneath shifting deserts, restricted territories, and archaeological silence. This isn't about faith. It's about geography and what's been hidden in plain sight. Because if Eden was a place, a real one, then it could change everything we thought we knew about the origins of civilization. The book of Genesis gives specific clues. Eden was fed by a single river that split into 4, Pishon, Gin, Tigris, and Euphrates. 2 of those still exist. The Tigris and Euphrates run through Iraq, ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. But the others, that's where the mystery begins. The Pishon is described as winding to the land of Havilah, where gold, bdellium, and onyx are found. Some scholars place Havilah in the Arabian Peninsula. Others point to regions beneath the now-dry riverbeds in Saudi Arabia, visible only by satellite. The Gin, said to encircle the land of Kush, may refer to ancient Nubia, modern-day Sudan or Ethiopia. This would place Eden at the intersection of Africa and the Middle East. Not metaphorical, physical, and yet the mainstream narrative avoids that conclusion, because to admit it might mean rethinking everything about the origins of human society and the sacred. In the 1990s, NASA satellites scanning the Arabian Peninsula detected an ancient, dried river stretching hundreds of kilometers beneath the sand. It matched descriptions of the Pishon, flowing near old gold mines, tracing a path long lost to history. This wasn't folklore. It was physical evidence. And it wasn't the only one. Other dried channels, now buried beneath desert and city, crisscross the region. But what's more curious is what sits at the convergence of these rivers. Southern Iraq, the site of ancient Sumer, of Eridu, considered the oldest city in recorded history, a city whose name means mighty place or home of the gods. And just nearby, the ruins of a garden complex unlike any other, a sacred space enclosed by walls, with ancient irrigation and exotic plant remnants. Was it a temple, or was it something older? What's also strange is a pattern of occupation and excavation. The closer we get to where Eden might be, the more fragmented the history becomes. Sites are abandoned, digs are paused, artifacts disappear. In recent decades, several researchers, both local and foreign, who attempted to publish findings related to pre-Sumerian settlements in this region had their work mysteriously pulled from circulation. Some claimed it was due to lack of verification. Others never commented again. The story of Eden seems to follow a consistent pattern. Evidence appears, then disappears. In the Sumerian king list, Eridu is called the first city after kingship descended from heaven. It was home to Adapa, a man molded by the gods, a parallel to Adam. The Mesopotamians spoke of Dilmun, a pure, radiant land where sickness did not exist, where humans once lived among immortals. It was a garden. Its location? Described as east of Sumer, near the sea. Today, the Persian Gulf has swallowed much of that land. But sonar scans have revealed submerged ruins, platforms, straight lines, and geometric anomalies now buried under silt and salt water. And just above it, the marshes of southern Iraq still hold clues. In 2003, during the Iraq War, U.S. forces secured sites near Uar and Eridu, not for oil, but for archaeology. Some reports mention recovered tablets, sealed rooms, and transport of non-cultural artifacts. But no public explanation followed. There are also whispers about something else, a large underground chamber with inscriptions that didn't match any known script. That rumor faded, but nothing was officially denied. In fact, since that period, archaeological access to the region has been tightly restricted. The question is no longer whether something is buried there. The question is, who doesn't want it found? If Eden was real and physical, why bury it? Because its implications are enormous. It suggests early humans didn't just wander, they were placed. That the biblical creation account wasn't entirely symbolic, and that humanity's beginning wasn't random, it was structured. Eden wasn't merely a paradise. It was a controlled environment, a biosphere, a boundary. The expulsion from Eden wasn't just moral, it was spatial, a removal from access. Some researchers have even compared Eden's description to early attempts at describing terraformed zones or control zones. Myth or memory of something more advanced? And if Eden existed and was sealed, what else was buried with it? There's a reason some texts mention angels with flaming swords guarding the way back. Whether metaphor or memory, the implication is the same. Eden was never meant to be re-entered. But if that's true, who built it? And why are so many cultures, from Sumer to Egypt to India, describing similar gardens from which humanity was expelled? It's as if these stories are fragments of a single event, remembered differently across civilizations, and all point to a time when knowledge or power was suddenly cut off. Perhaps Eden was not just a memory, but a warning. For decades, archaeologists have avoided the subject. Textbooks say the garden was allegory, but satellites don't lie. And the rivers described thousands of years ago match what's buried beneath deserts today. We call them dry riverbeds. Ancients called them boundaries of paradise. And the land where they meet, it's marked by wars, secrecy, and ruins that no one fully explains. Eden may not be gone. It may be right where always was, but fenced off by myth, politics, and fear of what it means. The map was never forbidden. It was just ignored. And maybe it's time we start looking again. Because if Eden was a real place, maybe it still is. And maybe that's why it's so quiet down there. Not because there's nothing left to find, but because someone wants it to stay hidden. What lies beneath the layers of sand and silence may not only change our past, it might rewrite our future. The gate wasn't locked. It was buried,